Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maida Rahmanovich, and I'm the Community Outreach and Events Director at CAIR-Florida. Thank you all for being here. I would like to welcome our Chief Executive Director, Hassan Shibly, to the stand.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hassan Shibly, spelled H-A-S-S-A-N, last name S-H-I-B-L-Y. And I'm a plaintiff suing Donald Trump for violating the U.S. Constitution and threatening the liberty of all Americans by undermining the freedom of American Muslims and imposing policies that discriminate against people simply based on their religion, something that is antithetical to what we believe in and what we stand for as Americans. America is supposed to be the land of the free, a land that is established equality for all people regardless of their race or religion, and yet Donald Trump's executive orders particularly target people because of their religion. That is against everything America stands for, and therefore I'm proud to, in addition to over 20 other plaintiffs, bring a lawsuit against Donald Trump to protect the U.S. Constitution, to protect the First Amendment, and to enforce the Establishment Clause, which makes clear that the U.S. government shall not give preference nor hinder the free practice and exercise of any religion. Unfortunately, over this weekend, we've witnessed literally millions of lives devastated, millions of lives disrupted, thousands of people coming here, seeking freedom, seeking liberty, coming here to return to work, to visit their family members, locked up and detained for hours, some people wrongfully deported. We had an incident of a legal permanent resident, a green card holder, who was locked up with her 2 children at an airport for over 20 hours. Her children are American citizens. Because of this baseless, reckless policy that callously really devastated so many lives. And it's unnecessary. It is unnecessary. It does not make our country any safer. There have been absolutely 0 terrorist attacks. There have been absolutely 0 fatal terrorist attacks in America by any citizen of the 7 banned countries since 1975. This policy is not about making America safer. It's about giving in to fear, hatred, and bigotry. When Donald Trump was running for office, he called for a total and complete shutdown and ban of Muslims entering America. Giuliani went on the record very recently saying that Donald Trump approached him and asked how he could make a Muslim ban legal. This is not about safety. It's not about security. It's about promoting bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic policies. And I think it's very telling to see that the Department of State and the Department of Homeland Security's policies on how to implement the ban were overridden by Steve Bannon, who ran Breitbart, a known white supremacist, anti-Muslim online blog. So I'm very grateful for our allies joining us here today. I'm very grateful for the thousands and thousands and millions of American citizens who stood up and protested, who said this is not the America that we believe in. We will not give in to fear and hatred. We will not allow our government to discriminate based on religion. We will protect the Constitution. We will protect immigrants. We will protect refugees. We will protect what this country stands for. That's why we're here today. We're here to make sure America remains great by preserving liberty, by preserving justice, by preserving diversity and freedom in this country. And I think, again, it's very telling that the former Attorney General, the former acting Attorney General, gave up her career last night, gave up her position last night to stand up against Donald Trump's illegal executive orders and called them for what they are. She said they are indefensible. They are illegal. They're against the very principles of liberty and justice enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, and she commanded that no U.S. attorney defend the executive ban. Essentially, she commanded no U.S. attorney to defend the allegations we bring in this lawsuit. And of course, you know, Donald Trump, thinking he's still on The Apprentice, immediately fired her because she refused to carry his line. So I want to conclude by saying there comes a time in every few years or every few decades in this nation when our country is tested. We are tested, and watershed moments arise where we must stand up and define what kind of country do we want America to be. It happened before during the Chinese Exclusion Act. It happened before during the rounding up of Japanese Americans. And it's happening now as Trump is promoting a policy essentially to ban Muslims. Yes, this policy doesn't affect all Muslims, but it affects only Muslims. And I think the two key points that we need to focus on here, or the three key points, is number one, while Donald Trump was running for office, he said he wanted to ban Muslims. And then very recently he approached Giuliani and asked him how he could impose a legal Muslim ban. And then thirdly, the executive orders explicitly make exceptions for refugees based on their religion. It explicitly gives preference to Christian refugees. And we welcome our Christian brothers and sisters, but again, America should not give preference to people simply based on their religion. That's not what America stands for. And essentially, Donald Trump's policies stigmatize the entire American Muslim community, and that's why I'm suing. My child today, and I'll finish with this point, and then we'll have a few statements from partners and then some question and answers. Literally, unrehearsed, my 5-year-old daughter today told me, we're not going anywhere. Donald Trump wants to kick us out, but we're not leaving. His policies stigmatize American Muslims. They make us feel unwelcome. They make us feel like our government is against us, and they reinforce the message of extremists. We've been speaking with people in national security, and they said extremist groups are having a field day. They're having a field day using Donald Trump's policies to wage a war between the East and the West, and this is not what we stand for. So very quickly about what the lawsuit is, the legal grounds for the lawsuit, and then some words from our allies, and then we can entertain some questions. Basically, Donald Trump's executive orders are a violation of the U.S. Establishment Clause. You know, that the government cannot favor or disfavor a religion, and it violates the Equal Protection Clause, that all Americans should not be denied the protection under the law simply based on their religion. It's driven by bigotry. It's bad for America. It makes us less safe and less free, and that's why I'm very proud to be a plaintiff suing Donald Trump to make sure America remains great by protecting the U.S. Constitution and the First Amendment for all people, regardless of race or religion, for generations to come. Thank you, and God bless you. Maida.
I would like to invite some of our allies who are here supporting us and supporting the no Muslim ban. First, I'd like to start off with Danya. She is from Organize Florida and Surge.
Hello, my name is Dana Lazarus, and I represent both Organize Florida, who I work for full-time, and Showing Up for Racial Justice, which is a new group we just formed very recently. But Surge is a national network of groups and individuals organizing white people for racial justice. This past Sunday, January 29th, we saw 450 citizens of the Tampa Bay area show up and take the street in opposition of this unconstitutional ban. It is a ban that is, at its core, rooted in fear of people who are different. The organizers of Surge encourage everyone who recognizes that people should not have their rights violated due to the color of their skin or their country of origin or their religion to show up and stand up to oppose this illegal executive order. It's well beyond time for us, white people, to show up for racial justice. Showing Up for Racial Justice stands in solidarity with CAIR and the other organizations here today in challenging the Muslim ban, and will continue to stand up against discrimination and white supremacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome Mike Reed with Organize Florida.
Thank you. How y'all doing today? I'd like to take a moment to thank CAIR for inviting me here today. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm with Organize Florida, and I work as the criminal justice organizer, and the things that we've seen in recent days, in these recent events, have been devastating. We as Americans cannot sit idly by and watch our Muslim brothers and sisters, or anyone of any background, be persecuted. It is not the way of American freedoms, and it's not the way of American liberties, and we stand at a pivotal moment where we get to decide what kind of country we want to live in. I ask that everybody, you can hear my voice, every American citizen who is concerned about their freedoms, realize that this affects you just as much as it affects our Muslim brothers and sisters, everyone. And I implore you to get up, go out and get involved. Organize Florida, we stand with refugees. And we will be involved in actions. We will be involved in helping any way we can. Thank you so much.
Next, I would like to welcome Donna Davis. She's from a couple different organizations, Black Lives Matter in Tampa, Community Protection Coalition, and she's the co-founder of Black Lives Matter. Thank you.
We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. The blessings of liberty were sought by the settlers of this country, specifically religious freedom. This is how our nation was conceived. We must stand up for the soul of our nation. Love and dissent, hope and striving for higher ground can heal a past rooted in slavery and colonization. Hope and charity is built into the very brick and mortar of this nation. We cannot allow ourselves to be compelled by fear of this country's changing social fabric to allow that hope and charity to be paved over with hate. We must continue to build our resistance. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't wait. History is calling to us. Let us be remembered well.
I would like to welcome Reverend Rob Sitchop from Congregational United Church.
My name is Bob Secta. My formal title is the Reverend Dr. Robert David Secta, Senior Pastor, Congregational United Church of Christ in Bradenton, Florida. I'm also an attorney at law. I stand here not only in my own name, but in the names of dozens of clergy who have signed letters, including a particular letter that will be published tomorrow in the Bradenton Herald. We are expecting it to be published as well in the Sarasota Herald Tribune. We have the support not only of the entire conference of the United Church of Christ throughout the state of Florida and nationally. We have the support of other organizations like the Coalition for Worker Justice, which spreads nationwide as well. Our letter begins with these words: an attack on one great people of faith is an attack on all faiths. We do not look upon people as our Muslim friends. They are our friends who happen to be Muslims. Right now, there are families in this country and at border points and planning to come here who are terrified about their status. Where they sit, they are wondering whether over the next 90 to 120 days they will lose their status while sitting in this country because of being unable to renew their visas, among other possibilities. They are rightly afraid. We stand together. We stand as one. I will close by saying I have had the privilege of walking with one great person and listening to another whose voice rings to me and I hope will continue to resonate throughout this community and lead us in peaceful ways toward the end goal of sharing this country we have all been given as immigrants. In 1965, I was one of thousands who walked with Dr. Martin Luther King from Selma to Montgomery. Today, I'm one of millions who stand here with Hassan Shibly, whose voice rings out to you in his lawsuit against someone who only wears the title at this point, but has yet to prove worthy of being the President of the United States.
Thank you. And finally, I would like to welcome Jennifer Cupp, a concerned citizen and friend.
Thank you. Hi, I'm a geography professor, but for the last few years I've been at home with my family, so I suppose today I'm the stereotypical concerned housewife or mere housewife. I'm here against this ban. I will continue to fight against this until it is changed. In the past, I have worked with my Friends movement, the Quakers, in the sanctuary movement in the 1980s. I've also been involved with Amnesty International in campaigning against the death penalty. And as I said, I will continue to fight this ban until it is removed, until everyone is able to live here according to our laws. I don't do these things out of great love for prisoners on death row, or out of great love for people from Central America, or even out of great love for Muslims, although I do have friends from Libya and Somalia. I do this for myself and for my son and for every American, because I want to live in a land where every person can know that we have our rights, that they will be respected, that we live in a land that is ruled by law, where every person in this country is aware of the rule of law and is held accountable to our laws, which have been formed over years, over centuries, to protect the dignity and the life of every individual. That's what I fight for. I also fight to live in a country which upholds our international commitments. Some of you may be familiar with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which actually was formed internationally by a very large group, but headed up by the wife of a president. So it was headed up by Americans, but it was an international document to which we are signatory. It declares the rights of humans around the world, including the right to refuge, including the right to worship as one pleases, including freedom of conscience. Our country led that movement, and I wish for our country to continue to be leaders. I want to live in a country which is recognized around the world as a bastion of freedom and as a place where people can go, where their rights will be respected and where they will be able to live as citizens and as equals. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Now we're going to do some Q&A.
Yeah. And before we jump into that, I just want to say thank everybody again for coming. Truly, this is why I'm proud to call America home. It's our brothers and sisters who stand in solidarity to protect diversity of all people. I was born in Damascus, Syria. I came as an immigrant. I was a green card holder for many years, and this ban would have prohibited me from standing in solidarity with my brothers and sisters here today, or running one of the largest civil rights organizations that protects the U.S. Constitution for all people, regardless of their race or religion. This ban is bad for America. It's unconstitutional, and Americans will unite, as we are uniting here today, to defeat it, to keep America a great nation for everyone. With that, we'll open up for any questions.
Sir, your reaction to the AP's reporting that 872 refugees will be admitted to the country under hardship concerns, despite
excellent, and we need many, many more. We have an obligation. We have created the refugee problem through our illegal invasion of Iraq, which destabilized the region and led to the creation of Daesh and led to the displacement of millions of civilians. The least we can do is bring in some, as our Statue of Liberty promises to be a beacon of hope for all. So we welcome that.
Hassan, has anyone, to your knowledge, been from the Bay Area hung up at any of the airports trying to come back?
We've had a green card holder who is the sister of an American citizen, and she lives here. She was visiting Europe, coming back, held at the airport for over 10 hours, feared that she would not be able to return here to her home. If you're a green card holder, this is your home. You know, we have very close family friends right now that run a huge medical practice that simply went to Canada because their mom is getting surgery there. They are Canadian citizens of Syrian descent, and right now they're stuck in Canada because they're green card holders here. Even though they're Canadian citizens, they're unable to come back to their medical practice to serve the American public, and they offer free legal medical assistance to those in need. This ban is bad for this country. It's hurting our country.
What do you hope your lawsuit will accomplish?
I mean, one, to really hold our president accountable by making it absolutely clear that these executive orders are unconstitutional, as the former Attorney General Sally Yates argued yesterday. So we want the courts to affirm that and to make them unenforceable.
What's your personal legal standing?
Well, as an American Muslim, I believe that this these executive orders violate the Establishment Clause, and therefore has basically made me feel stigmatized, has made the American Muslim community feel stigmatized, and I believe any American Muslim has legal standing to enforce the Establishment Clause.
But you yourself have not been harmed yet, is that correct?
No, I would argue I have been harmed. My aunt, who's a Syrian citizen, the mother of my American citizen cousin, is unable to come and visit us right now. It's a very traumatic experience. It's very traumatic. I don't think people can understand what it feels like to have your president say that your religion hates this country, that your religion should be banned, that your religion is not welcome. It really is a traumatic experience, and we've been going through shock as a community. We're shocked that we have such a leader who would make such atrocious statements, and we fear about the liberty of our children.
So your standing is that you're an American Muslim?
Correct.
Are you surprised, were you surprised by the executive order in light of what the president said in his campaign?
No, we were not surprised. We were expecting it, unfortunately. I mean, he promised to ban Muslims, and I think his executive order is simply an extension of that.
What about the argument that because he made that as a campaign promise and then he won the Electoral College, that that's what the American people want?
No, I think with the protests that we are seeing across America prove that this is not what the American people want. He was elected with less than 24% of the total population voting for him. He lost the popular vote. He certainly has absolutely no mandate. And I believe many of those who voted for him did not vote for him because they support his xenophobic, Islamophobic policies, but because they were deceived by his promises to uplift the working man and woman. And we've heard from many Trump supporters who are aghast and disgusted by this ban and have offered to stand in solidarity with us. All right. All right. Thank you all. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.